In the last episode of the series, we talked about graphs, and in our case, undirected graphs. In this episode, we will take a look at validating data we fetch to our agency matrix and checking our matrix. For checking the input box, I created a script, and if you remember from the last episode, each input box has a row and a column assigned to it. This is where that will come in handy. On the first line, we will keep our input field in a variable and the entry data too. Then, we set them in the start method, which will search them in the input box this script is attached to. After that, I declared a new function, which handles the input the user enters. As its name says, it will happen after the user changed it. What this function does is, first, gets the box row and column from the entry variable. After that, if the first letter of the text is less or equal to 48, 48 is 0 using ASCII codes, and above that, the user can only enter one character, then the text will be 0 and the value at that entry in the matrix will be false, or 0. In the ASCII codes, the digits are having consecutive numbers assigned to them. For example, 1 is 49, 2 is 50, and so on to 9. Knowing this, whenever we see that the input ASCII code is bigger than 49 or 1, we set the text to 1 and the matrix at that entry to true, or 1. And now the fun part, the Drawnote script, which obviously helps us draw nodes. On the first line, I declared a material for our edges between the connected nodes, a button variable for applying our matrix, an empty game object to spawn our edge, and the user camera. I forgot to mention the reset canvas, which basically has the retry button. After that, I created a click manager function, which, on the first line, calls the function which checks if our matrix is valid and assigns the result to a boolean type of variable, true or false. After that, if the button we pass to this function is apply and the input is valid, it would first draw the nodes, then call the drawLines function, which we will cover after, and then destroy the matrix canvas, set active the reset canvas, and enable zooming abilities. And now, the drawLines function. It starts by going below the main diagonal of the agency matrix, because, as we said in the third video, the matrix is symmetrical. If the value at that position in the matrix is 1, which means there is an edge between node I and j, then we get the spawned nodes, which, as I wanted, have as the name the node number itself. After that, I created a child game object, which will hold our edge. I added a line renderer, which basically is our line, set it a material, width, and the start position, node I, to the end position, node j. And this was basically it. In the next episode, we will take a look at some maintenance scripts and talk about evolving this app. See you then!